Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How you guys doing? We got a bit of a breaking story here, bit of a breaking story, and then I'm not gonna be on here too long because we actually got different stuff that we want to cover today. But I just want to cover the breaking story here that we got surrounding Stephen A. Smith. So I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to catch up to this live. I'm not gonna be on here too long. Just wanted to quickly react to what Stephen A. Smith had to say today on his show. He published the show on his podcast, but I'm gonna wait for some people to catch up to the live. Also, make sure you check in and let us know where you're coming in from before we get into this live. That's pretty interesting. I'm seeing 7 likes, and I was about to say I saw 7 likes and like 2 people. I'm like, okay, this must be some Houdini stuff going on here. So let me give it like another minute. Shout out to Baltimore. Shout out to Baltimore. Shout out to Louisiana. Malcolm from South Carolina, what's up? Shout out to Philly. What's good? Williams from South Carolina, Texas, Croatia. Wow, DC. Shout out to my DC people, the hometown. Nashville, Atlanta, Dallas, Texas, Philly, LA. Shout out to LA. Detroit, Chicago, Trinidad, Los Angeles. Los Angeles, not the Clippers. I hear you, man. I feel you. Okay, let's give it like another 30 seconds or so. We're gonna get into this story here. Shout out to the BX. Nigeria was good, man. Okay, we got some people up in Nigeria today. Harlem, New York, Arizona, ATL. Keep doing what you do. Appreciate that. Okay, let's give it 20 more seconds. We got Guyana in the house. Maryland. Shout out to Maryland, the hometown. Lancaster, Jamaica, Oregon, Iowa, Calgary. Okay, so let me get into this live. Thank you guys for being a part of this. Shout out to Miami and North Carolina, Toronto. Okay, let me get into this live here. So, as you guys know, Shannon Sharpe is a free agent, right? He's a free agent, and about let me say 2 weeks ago, after he got laid off, after he left Undisputed, he put out a post on his Twitter where he said, "I'm using this time to just kind of figure out things, but rest assured, you are going to see me on morning sports on a morning show talking sports." Then Stephen A. Smith, who's on his podcast a few weeks ago, he spoke about the breakup between Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, and he said that, he thinks Shannon Sharpe is a very talented person, and he wouldn't mind him working on this show. So what happened? I believe it was on Saturday. No. What am I saying Saturday? It was early this week, maybe 2 days ago. We covered a story. Appreciate that. Truth Loops. Appreciate that. We covered a story maybe 2 days ago from Front Office Sports. I know we did. And in that article on Front Office Sports, they were talking about possibly Shannon Sharpe coming to work at ESPN, First Take specifically, as a rotational guest. They specifically said that. Specifically. So we were like, all of us were speculating. A lot of people were talking about it. Different websites, different content creators. Fantastic. Marcellus Wiley, all of them. So then what happened? Stephen A. Smith then, he comes out on his Twitter and he says on Twitter, just a few days ago, he says, "Look for me on Friday." He posted this, I believe, on Wednesday. He said, "Look for me on Friday, folks. I'll be addressing all things I need to address back on Stephen A. Smith's show podcast on Friday, then live on First Take on Monday. See y'all in a minute. Buckle up." Then Shannon Sharpe immediately responded to that and said, "What you addressing on Friday? I got some free time, so feel free before my meetings." That's what Shannon Sharpe said. So what happened today? Stephen A. Smith comes out on his show and he says, appreciate that, Cleo, Westside Chicago, shout out to Chicago. He says that he officially knows that ESPN has been interviewing Shannon Sharpe for a role on First Take. So now Stephen A. Smith, who's the head of ESPN First Take, the show, he's saying that they're actively interviewing Shannon Sharpe to be a rotational guest. And then he said, one second, and then he said he also wants them to hire Shannon Sharpe fully, to be fully employed by ESPN. That's what Stephen A. Smith said. So not only does he want him to be a contributor on his show, he's saying that he believes that ESPN should hire him. That's what he said. And he also said that he doesn't want to throw any criticism around, but he believes that if you're a Fox FS1, he said there's no way you allow a talent like Shannon Sharpe to walk out of the building. That's what Stephen A. Smith said. And what I personally believe, there are a bunch of articles for those of you guys just coming in. We got one article here from from Sports Illustrated. I can pin it here in the comment section if you guys don't believe me. Just to be thorough, let me pin that right there so you guys can read that. Okay, I don't know what the hell this is. Okay, YouTube. Okay, so I just pinned that right there. YouTube got like a like emoji or heart emoji. I don't know how to get it off the screen. Anyway, so I just posted an article right there. And in that article, they're saying Stephen A. Smith addresses ESPN reported interest in Shannon Sharpe. This was about 16 minutes ago. He said over the past month, Stephen A. Smith has made it his stance on Shannon Sharpe. He wants Claire to first take. On Friday, Smith addressed the recent report regarding Sharpe, who left FS1 Undisputed in June, speaking to ESPN about coming on as a contributor. And as he so often has in his career, Smith gleefully discussed the topic after confirming talks remain ongoing. Stephen A. Smith said, I'm not going to tell you that it's true. I'm not going to tell you that it's not either. What I can tell you is that the honchos are talking to Shannon Sharpe. What I can tell you is that the honchos are fully aware that Stephen A. Smith wants Shannon Sharpe on first take, and I aim to get him. He then continued, anything can happen now. I have bosses, but damn it, Shannon, Club Shay Shay, and anything else, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if he brings a bottle of Hennessy with him. I want him on first take. That's what Stephen A. Smith just said on Sports, and I just read that from Sports Illustrated. So what does this really mean for Shannon Sharpe? What does it mean for Stephen A. Smith? And what does it mean for Skip Bayless and FS1? Let's start off with the latter. Skip Bayless and FS1. I think they made a mistake letting go of Shannon Sharpe. Maybe Shannon Sharpe may not have worked out with Skip Bayless together, but there's no way you let a talent like that, as like Stephen A. Smith said, walk out the door. You could have given him another show at that network. Because if truth be told, as someone, and I'm sure like the majority of you guys that have watched Undisputed for the past 5, 6, 7 years, you know that Shannon Sharpe brought a lot to that show. He brought the humor. In most cases, he brought the logic. He brought the passion. And he brought the fun factor, the entertainment factor. Skip could be entertaining at times, but Skip is not really humorous. That's not really his thing. He's more serious. You know, he can kind of get on people's nerves. If he's funny, he's usually funny when he's making fun of somebody. So to let Shannon just walk out the building, I assume that number one, Skip has a lot of pull on his show. And to me, I think you're going to see the ratings of ESPN First Take go through the roof even more. That's for sure. That's for sure. Because to me, if you add Shannon Sharpe, who already has a big following, you bring him in on First Take, I can almost assure you that once a week, Shannon Sharpe, some type of dispute that he has with Stephen A. Smith over something is going to make headlines, which is going to generate a lot of good press. That's the first part. The second part is this. Stephen A. Smith looks like he is making it his personal goal to ensure that ESPN as a company, as a brand, remains number one. He is publicly campaigning, publicly recruiting other talent to ensure that his network remains number one. Now, whether or not you like Stephen A. Smith, whether or not you hate Stephen A. Smith, the one thing you got to say is he's loyal. He's loyal. Now, some people may say he's loyal to a fault. Whatever it is, he's loyal to ESPN. He knows where his bread is buttered. I got to say that. And to me, it seems like Stephen A. Smith is a very competitive guy, a very, very competitive guy. And I think his goal is to ensure that ESPN crushes all of its competitors. I don't know how as FS1 you allow Shannon Sharpe to go to ESPN First Take. I personally don't know it. For the new people that's coming in, ESPN now is going to be most likely, because I think he's going to get the job. I think Shannon Sharpe is going to get the job, and I think he's also going to be a part of one of these major sport books. That's what I think. Full-time, I don't know. Full-time, I don't know. But we do know that Shannon Sharpe is in a power position. He's in a power position. And two, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Skip to ensure that he delivers. The last person we heard that Skip Bayless could possibly recruit is Richard Sherman. Now, Richard Sherman is a very bright guy. I believe he went to Stanford. He was a very good football player. I believe he was a defensive player when he played in the NFL. Him and Skip Bayless have a history. I believe that Skip Bayless and what is it? Skip Bayless and Fox Sports, FS1, they're going to play into that history. They're going to play into that drama to, draw in more people. Is Richard Sherman going to be as entertaining as Shannon Sharpe? I don't know. I've never seen him on TV like that, although he's had other gigs, but I've never seen him on a role like that. But really, it makes me think about something else. It makes me think about the beef between Dan Le Batard and Stephen A. Smith. When I think about Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith has made it clear he no longer wants to do the I'm debating just me and you, the duo, like we're just two people debating on TV. But then you have Skip Bayless, who seems to be doubling down on that form of content. And then you have a Dan Le Batard, who's kind of like in the middle, and it makes me wonder, where is all of this heading? Is the classical debate style of content that we're used to over the last 10 years, is that still going to be the thing that's reigning? Or are we going to see something different? Are there going to be days we're going to see Pat McAfee on ESPN First Take? Is it always going to be about debates? Are there going to be any sports talk shows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But for me, I think if ESPN gets Shannon Sharpe, that's a major move. That's a major move. That's a major move. And I think is a loss for FS1. I really do. Because if you think of the talent, and no disrespect, you think of the talent at FS1, you have Rob Parker, you have Skip Bayless, you have Chris Broussard, you have Colin Cowherd, you have some names. But as someone that watches both shows, if I'm just comparing like Undisputed to ESPN First Take, I think ESPN First Take is actually better. In my personal opinion. I think ESPN First Take is better than Undisputed because, number one, they have a wider variety of topics. Number two, you have a wider range of personalities, so you're always getting something different. I mean, think about it. One day you have Kendrick Perkins. The next day you have Chris Mad Dog Russo. The next day you have JJ Redick. The next day you have Stephen A. Smith. Then you have Jay Williams. Now you're going to have Shannon Sharpe too? Nah, man, I think ESPN, if they get him, I think it's going to be a major move. And I got another prediction. I believe that in the next 5 years or 4 years, I believe that Shannon Sharpe, this is just my opinion, I believe in the next 4 to 5 years, Shannon Sharpe is going to be one of the most successful media personalities, period. I think Shannon Sharpe is in a position where he could get $100 million contract the same way Pat McAfee did for his Club Shay Shay show. I think he could be a staple at ESPN, and I think he's going to be one of the biggest things in sports. I think when we talk about sports media going into the future, I think it's going to be Stephen A. Smith, obviously, because ESPN ain't just disappearing. Somebody laughed at 100 million. I'll tell you why I'm saying 100 million. FanDuel was paying Pat McAfee $30 million a year. They gave Pat McAfee a $120 million deal in 4 years. Shannon Sharpe has a very, very popular podcast and YouTube channel, and he's going to be on TV. I can guarantee you Shannon Sharpe is going to sign, bet that I said it, a 40 to 50 or even $100 million deal. Y'all just wait. Y'all just wait. Y'all just wait. This is what I believe. This is what I believe. Because now the people that they're recruiting on these networks are people that are well established. That's what's going. This is what I believe. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. Shannon Sharpe can make more off of TV than he can make on TV. That's for damn sure. And I think the reason he's going to, because we got to think about it. Why is Shannon Sharpe going to ESPN? Why is he going there? Why is he going to ESPN? Ask yourself the question. Is it because he's looking for a job? Well, he already got money. He already got money. So why is he going to ESPN? I think Shannon Sharpe is going to ESPN to do a few things. Number one, to keep his name in the press. Number two, is going to help market his Hennessy. You better believe that. He's going to use this as a way to market his Hennessy. You better believe that. And I'm sure his partners that he's working with his Hennessy, I'm sure probably said to them, man, if you can get on TV, that'll bring us great visibility. Now, some people may say you capping. Let me ask you guys a question. Why do you think Shaq is on TNT? Why do you think Shaquille O'Neal is on a show on TNT? The reason Shaq is on TNT during the NBA season and he's always being seen is because Shaq represents a lot of brands. And if you're constantly on TV, you're constantly going to be in the public eye and you're going to be relevant, and it's going to be easier for you to promote brands. We know this because you're always out there. I personally believe that Shannon Sharpe is going to pull off a power play, and I think he's going to be making more money than Skip Bayless moving forward. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. If they were going to give Pat McAfee 120, you could at least give Shannon Sharpe 40 to 50. Now, how long would it take Shannon Sharpe to make $50 million working on Undisputed? How long? How long would it take Pat McAfee to make $120 million working at ESPN? How long would it take Stephen A. Smith to make $120 million working at ESPN? How long? How long? So to me, man, I think it's going to happen. I think he's going to be a big deal, and I think ESPN is going to win. I think they're going to win, and I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on First Take. Now, granted, I was listening to Anton Daniels, and he brought up a good point that, listen, maybe some of the numbers that you see on ESPN are inflated because ESPN has more outlets. So maybe whenever you see First Take get all of those viewership numbers is because they have more outlets. And really what's impressive is what FS1 and those guys are doing. I grant you that. And that's a very good point. That's a very good point. And maybe what Skip Bayless is doing, I understand that. But at the same time, ESPN is making some power moves right now. They're making some power moves. Now, Fox has Tom Brady, and I think they have a $300 million deal or whatever it is lined up for Tom Brady. But right now, if you don't have an audience, I don't think there's any way you make it on any one of these shows. How do I know? Is Shannon Sharpe the only retired former football Hall of Famer? Help me understand. Is Shannon Sharpe the only retired former NFL Hall of Famer? Of course not. There are other ones out there. So why aren't they getting those gigs? You tell me. Is Shannon Sharpe the only former NFL player that knows football? Obviously not. So why aren't other NFL athletes getting those deals? Because they don't have the audience and clout that Shannon Sharpe has. The truth of the matter is, Shannon Sharpe, I got to say it, I could be wrong. Maybe some football fans will tell me. I believe Shannon Sharpe is more known to the average person walking around for what he does on TV than his actual career. How do I know? Because he said it. He said, I have more people come up to me to talk to me about, oh, you're the guy I see on TV. And some of them don't even know I was a former NFL Hall of Famer. That's what Shannon Sharpe said. He says some of them don't even know I'm a former Hall of Fame football player. They just see me as the guy on TV. The majority of the people that watch Charles Barkley on TNT never saw him play basketball. But I bet you they know him. I bet you they know him. So I think it's a good move for Shannon. Good for him. I hope that he takes his brand to the next level. I hope he gets the most out of his opportunities in front of him. If he has an opportunity to make $50 million, I hope he makes it. If he has an opportunity to make 100, I hope he makes it. I hope he maximizes his opportunity. And most importantly, I hope he bets on himself. And he's no longer feeling like he needs to sit across Skip Bayless, who's going to be disrespecting him 2 times a month on national TV, which to me is insane. That you as a professional Hall of Famer, football player, is sitting down across the desk from Skip Bayless, and he talking to you like you some kid, which to me is incredible. So good news for Shannon Sharpe. I definitely think he's going to go to ESPN. I think he's going to go to ESPN, and I think we're going to see a lot more of him on television. Who knows? We may even see some segments of Stephen A. Smith arguing that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, and Shannon Sharpe arguing that LeBron James is the GOAT. Who knows? Who knows? But I think it's going to be really, really, really entertaining, and we're going to have to see. So these are my thoughts, man. Thank you guys for being a part of this live. We got a lot of content coming out, but thank you guys for being a part of this live, and we definitely catch y'all on the next one. And also real quick, before I let you guys go, because I know a lot of you guys actually been asking me, a lot of us been asking me, are we on Spotify? Do we have a podcast and all of that stuff? So if you guys want to follow our show, our podcast, I'm going to pin it right here in the comment section. Make sure you go to Spotify and follow the Dreamers Pro podcast, because we also actually publish exclusive shows on there. So make sure you follow the Dreamers Pro podcast. We have that pin right there. Let me pin that in the comments there. So make sure you follow the Dreamers Pro podcast. Thank you guys for being a part of this live, and we catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Peace out.